Today's story is The Diabolical Mr Tiddles by Tom McLaughlin. For as long as he could remember, all Harry had wanted in the whole wide world was a cat, a furry, purry friend to care for and to play with. And you'll never guess what. This was Harry's lucky day. Today was Harry's birthday, and a cat is just what he got. "What a perfect pussycat," said Harry excitedly. "I'll call him Mr Tiddles." Every day, Harry made sure that Mr Tiddles was happy as a cat could possibly be. Every night, he tucked Mr Tiddles up on the comfiest armchair and stroked his tummy until he drifted into a dreamy sleep. Harry loved his new friend. Mr Tiddles loved Harry too, and he wanted to show him how lucky he was to have such a kind friend. First, he bought Harry a fresh mouse. Ugh, but Harry just turned a funny colour. Then he left Harry's favourite treat at the bottom of his bed, a triple chocolate custard cream cake with extra banana jam. Delicious," said Harry as he licked a dollop of cream. But where did it come from? Mr Tiddles kept quiet. The next day, Harry found a pogo stick and a train tooting its way around its room. "What is going on, and where has all of this come from?" he cried. Mr Tiddles just grinned. Day by day, things got even more puzzling. Before long, Harry's room was awash with rock star guitars, peculiar painting, fearsome dinosaurs, yummy jelly beans, and a whooshing jetpack. Whoa! Then one morning, Harry awoke to find a horse named Alan in his bedroom. It was the last straw. "What are you up to, Mr Tiddles? You rascally cat," he cried. Mr Tiddles didn't like the sound, didn't make a sound. He just went a little red in the face. What mischief was Mr Tiddles getting up to whilst Harry was asleep? That evening, Harry followed Mr Tiddles as he vanished into the night, slinking along high wires, leaping across rooftops and jumping over rickety fences. It was a job for Harry to keep up, until Mr Tiddle reached the home of the Queen. "Oh my," said Harry, as the rascally Moggy squeezed through the railings and started to scale the wall. "Mr Tiddles is a cat burglar! How diabolical!" Taking a deep breath, Harry followed Mr Tiddles over the palace gates, up the wall, and into the royal bedroom. "Stop!" shouted Harry, just as Mr Tiddles swiped the crown from the royal head. Mr Tiddles froze. The Queen woke up, and Harry started to fall. "Help!" he screamed, and whoosh! Quick as a flash, Mr Tiddles dropped the royal crown and dived across the room. Ah! With a swish and a swoop and some splendid acrobatics, Mr Tiddles grabbed Harry's shoelace and hauled him back through the window. Phew! That was close, sighed Harry, as he and Mr Tiddles landed in a heap at the Queen's slippers. The Queen, however, was not amused. "Guards!" she called. "Arrest these two intruders for the acts of cheekiness against the crown." "No, please, your Majesty," Harry cried. "Mr Tiddles isn't a bad cat. He's just been taking things because he cares for me so much." "You mean he's stolen other things too?" the Queen said in dismay. She scratched her royal head, and thought popped into her royal brain. It's wrong to steal," she snorted, "but I think Mr Tiddles has learned his lesson. I can see that it isn't a bad cat. If he promises to give everything back, we'll say no more about it." Mr Tiddles looked up at the Queen and gave the cutest, furry, purry, smiley cat that he could muster. With no time to lose, Mr Tiddles returned the grand piano to the conductor at the opera house, the whooshing jetpack to the astronaut, the noisy guitar to the rock star man, and Alan to a very relieved cowboy. When they were finished, Harry gave Mr Tiddles the biggest, bestest, squeeziest hug. the two of them agreed then and there that having each other was the best present anyone could ever wish for. The end. There's Harry and Mr Tiddles.